Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living, like healthcare and rent. It's called the affordability gap. For tonight's interview, we're joined by Gene Ludwig, founder and chairman of the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, which authored the new report. Gene, thank you for being with us. What's the key takeaway from your report?
John, the key takeaways, you might say, are three. Number one, 60% of Americans and less fortunate even can't meet minimum quality of life standards. So 60% of Americans can't afford a minimum quality of life, point one. Point two, things are getting worse, not better. And point three is that, it's interesting, the fact is we don't have good statistics publicly. The headline statistics are misleading and painting a rosier picture than in fact is lived experience.
Let me ask you about minimum quality life relative to, say, something like the Consumer Price Index. Is that what you're talking about, that mismatch?
That's exactly right. In other words, the indexes that are out there right now are really survival indexes. They're valuable. They tell us something. We have one at LISIB. That is the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, which I represent. And but they don't tell us, really the kind of life that is the basic life you need to come up to the American dream, to make life better for yourself.
The report shows an income gap, and we're going to put a graphic up on the screen, between the top 20% of earners and the bottom 60%. You say we're not sharing enough of the pie. Help people understand what that means.
Well, for the last, we think 40 years, but certainly the last 20 years, middle and low-income Americans' well-being has declined. But as you can see from that graph, that isn't true for the upper-income groups. And
also, let's look at some specific things that used to make up the American dream. Housing is up 130% since 2001. Healthcare, 178%. The amount of savings needed to attend college, 122%. I mean, wages can never keep up with those kind of increases. So what do those numbers tell us?
Well, they tell us wages, by the way, during this 20-year period, were up about 98%. There's a huge gap between the increase of these costs and the increase in wages, which means over 20 years, middle and low-income Americans have actually declined in terms of their ability to afford these things. Real wages are down 4.2%.
Now that if the package is broken up into two CRs, the taxes come later, it could be towards the end of 2025, Americans will suffer. What does it take to get this all into one CR and pass it quickly?
Well, Jackie, I think we just got to get our priorities straight, right? People need to realize, I should say, the folks in Congress need to realize that people need tax relief, and they need it now. We're facing a genuine cost of living crisis, and getting taxes down is one of the best ways to actually get the cost of living down for so many of these folks. And if we don't get this legislation across the finish line in one way, shape, or form, then you're going to see exactly what you just said, American families facing a double-digit percentage tax increase. It's not a good situation. Again, we need to get this done, and it needs to be the #1 priority. It wasn't in the first Trump admin, if you remember, and it was an absolute miracle that they got it done at all.
Speaking of taxes, Steve Forbes and Stephen Moore have a great op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this morning advocating for a 15% flat tax. What do you make of that?
It's not the overspending, it's the cost of living. Here is a breakdown of the average Gen Z and millennials cost of living in today's world. So #1 is rent. Everyone knows that Gen Z and millennials have to have a roommate. So splitting a 2-bedroom apartment with utilities is around $1,500. If you have a car, a $12,000 to $15,000 used car is still going to run you $400 a month. Car insurance and gas is another $300. Student loan payment, $500. You're going to have groceries for $500. You're going to have personal care, doctor's appointments, hair, gym, about $150, and then cell phone and miscellaneous $150. That's $3,500 a month, which is baseline. Do you know how much $3,500 a month is? $70,000 a year, or $34 an hour. Because after you take out taxes, put $300 for health insurance, and do a healthy $500 401k contribution, that leaves you with $3,500. This is no fun, no savings, no maintenance, no clothes, no kids, no traveling, no vacations, no bachelor parties, no weddings, no funerals, no clothes, no school supplies, nothing. and this is paycheck to paycheck. And on top of it, they're holding $40,000 of student loan debt, a $15,000 car, and if they ever wanted to buy a house with closing costs and a down payment, another $50,000. So they need $105,000. So even if they were somehow able to scrounge up after $70,000 of paycheck to paycheck, $5,000 to go to a concert, to have avocado toast, whatever it is, $5,000 a year, it would take them 20 years to pay off this debt and save up for a house. 20 years of living with the roommate where that...
All right, now this is an eye-opener. Most Americans are not making enough money to afford the basic costs of living. A new report found a, quote, minimal quality of life is out of reach for the bottom 60% of American households. Now, this analysis considers whether people can afford food and shelter, and it also looks at the affordability of technology tools for work and education, as well as health and childcare. For more on the economy, we're joined now by Claire Jones. She's a U.S. economics editor for the Financial Times. Claire, good morning to you. This is pretty sobering stuff. In addition to the point I just made, yesterday Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke in Washington saying the Fed is prepping for a new economic environment with higher inflation risks, and therefore interest rates may stay elevated. So what does this entire picture really mean?
I really like it that you picked up on Jerome Powell's remarks yesterday, because I think what they tell us is how much the world has changed. The Fed chose making these remarks at what the Fed calls its 5-year review conference, where it looks at its framework. The last time the Fed did one of these reviews, we were in a world where there was too little inflation. We're now in a world where Powell is acknowledging there may well be too much. And we've seen the impact the recent bouts of inflation have had on the cost of living for the average American. And what it's also going to mean is likely higher interest rates going forward. We're not going to see interest rates fall to the sort of levels that they were at after the 2008 financial crisis, or the sorts of levels that they were at during the early stages of the pandemic.
So these could be the early signs of a weakening economy, and no one wants to be in the position of a recession. Is there any mechanism or way to avoid that?
Well, I think we're certainly in a better place than we were this time last week. You know, we saw the talks between Scott Bessent and the Chinese vice minister in Geneva, and they really had a significant impact on reducing the recession risk by cutting the tariff on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. That'll help a lot, but we still are likely to see higher prices in the months ahead and low growth in the months ahead. And the big reason for that is the tariffs and the trade policies of Donald Trump.
And one of
for people to be just living in they I'ma move because that's for people to be living in their wills, like they living out of their cars, and this is crazy. And we talk about people with jobs. We're not talking about homeless people. Well, somewhat homeless, but you know what I mean. We talk about employed individuals getting up every day, going to work, showering wherever they shower, probably the local YMCA or truck stop or wherever people can get a quick shower at, and they going to work, coming back to their vehicle and doing the same thing over and over again. It's bad. It's bad here in 2025. And it's been bad for a while. It's been bad for quite a while, but it's getting worse. Y'all remember when $20 an hour was a thing? Remember before COVID, matter of fact. Let's go before COVID. And $20 an hour, you wasn't rich. You wasn't even well off. But you was living decently. $20 an hour, people, is the new 10. $20 an hour is the new $10 an hour. Fact. Nowadays, shit, $30 an hour, you barely making it. You're barely making it.
A lot of people are not able to qualify for apartments or purchase homes. They're having a hard time. They are becoming homeless. And a lot of people are even finding more creative ways to try and keep a roof over their head. Some people are even looking at storage units. Check this out.
Been living in my car. Now I'm living in a storage unit, trying to get an apartment, but can't right now. I'm at the storage unit, finna get me a storage today. I'm feeling mighty proud of myself today, you know. Yeah, you can see the building right here. I ain't gonna really show everything, but yeah. I'm looking for the smallest storage unit. How much is the smallest? Just got the storage unit. Put my, thought I would have a bigger one, but I think I can put my bed right here or whatever. Man. Got all my stuff in here. Gotta get some. I let this up when I get hot.
I'm homeless by choice because I got tired of spending all my money on rent and I need to save some money. If you're new here, I keep most of my stuff at this storage unit, but I also have an office where I have access to Wi-Fi, a refrigerator, and pretty much everything else I need 24/7. I have 2 jobs and I also sleep at work, so that definitely helps. Keep in mind, the office and work are 2 different places. Now, I am really active in my comments, and I noticed that a lot of moms were saying if they didn't have kids, they would be doing the same thing. And I definitely understand. For years, I just felt like it had to be a better way. I did not want to work, go home, take care of the kids, barely sleep, and still have to pay all these bills.
That's because you're supposed to have
My
a
kids
man.
are older, so it worked out to where I was finally able to put myself in a situation. So although I sleep at work, I rented this office because I just don't want to be in one spot all day. We have offices starting at $300, so it's nowhere near as much as I would be paying for rent. Whenever I do come here, I have 24-hour access. I can use the bathroom. We have a microwave, refrigerator, Wi-Fi, and everything else I need.
Hello, good morning. Can you keep your door open?
Yeah.
Okay, because we can't have it closed like that. It has to be open, wide open at all times.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Everything okay?
Everything good?
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind opening it, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
Man, I had to bring him here. I ain't want to do it, but I mean, he chilling, man. This is what we at for the night. We in the unit. You know what I'm saying? Shelter, he be tripping, man. His behavior, he don't. Bunch of weird people there, he don't like it. But here, he got his own world. He got the TV, he got the bed. He chilling. See, he got the moat. You know what I'm saying? We gonna thug it out. We gonna slide out in the morning, do what we do. Ain't it right, boy?
This is me. It's my home for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I don't know what to do. And I don't really have anyone. I toured 2 apartments yesterday. I won't qualify for them because you have to make 2.5 times the over $1,200 rent a month. And I don't even make the rent a month. I've never been homeless before. But you know what? This is a really good story. Like, I can only go, I could go down, but like, I'm gonna go up from here. Cause then, like, I'm broke and homeless. At 21. But like, that makes sense.
See, man, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash, man. Double honors to my apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. See, the scriptures is coming to life. And it's getting worse and worse out here. Mental health is getting worse. People, listen to this little girl. She's living in her car, and she can barely keep it together, man. Like mentally, people are struggling mentally. People about to start freaking out here, man. I'm talking about, hey, Jacob's trouble is right around the corner, man. These people are all mourning and languishing. They can't afford anything. The dude had his son in the storage unit, man, playing the game. You know? Isaiah chapter 24. There's a bunch of scriptures. I'm gonna play a few more videos, Lord willing.
Looking at the comments for my video about rent prices was like honestly depressing. You know, there's so many people out there that are in these situations, these circumstances where they can't afford their rent. Like some of the prices that people were saying for the square footage that they were getting is insane. And I think this tells us one thing, that a lot of people are struggling financially. And let this be a reminder that you should take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Somebody just got a new car, they, going on vacations. It's not to say that people can't afford to do these things right now, but just take it with a grain of salt, because most likely they're struggling, they're drowning too. I've even seen people comment down below saying like, oh, should we still be paying 50-50? Should it be the man 100%? And hey, I may tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie, man. Two incomes is more than one, especially during these times. Comment down below what your rent prices are in your city, because people...
In this morning's Money Moments segment, there's a new study that finds there's a pretty serious gap between what Americans earn and how much they actually need to afford basic standards of living across the U.S. So, of course, we know there's a lot of reports out there that look at how much families make to afford food and housing, those things that are considered necessities. But the reality is there are other basic necessities that you need to live a fulfilled life. A new report from the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity looks beyond whether people can afford daily necessities like food and shelter to consider whether they have some other things like the means to pay for things like technology tools necessary for work, higher education, health, and childcare cost. The study found for the bottom 60% of U.S. households, a minimal quality of life is completely out of reach, with the middle class not far behind. Now, back in 2023, households that earned an average of $38,000 per year now need to make $67,000 to afford items the group tracks as part of its index. That also includes things like professional clothing to be able to go to job interviews and basic leisure activities to sustain mental health and family inclusion. Experts analyzing the study said that
many depend on the charity of food banks. In tonight's In Depth, CBS's Manuel Bajorquez reports federal funding cuts are starving the food banks and those who depend on them of vital resources.
Before sunrise, workers at Feeding South Florida move, load, and stack pallets of food and household goods onto trucks. With the help of volunteers, this flurry of activity has allowed the organization to distribute food to 1.2 million people throughout 4 Florida counties. People like Rosalind Budget, who lives on a fixed income and comes here every 2 months.
I'm able to get a balanced meal in on a daily basis, And if you didn't have this, what would happen? I probably would starve. Probably would starve.
But the aid she relies on has been reduced. The Department of Government Efficiency cut funding for about $1 billion worth of USDA programs. For Feeding South Florida, the cuts amount to 40% of its $37 million annual budget.
You're already seeing empty shelves, essentially.
We've been seeing empty racks since February. These cuts have really made an impact, not just on our ability to serve, but on the family's ability to thrive in South Florida and across the country.
Paco Velez is CEO of Feeding South Florida.
It's an unfortunate situation because we see that our families are desperate. They're coming in more frequently than they ever have, and we're trying to maintain as much food as we can, but there is a little desperation.
The line of cars for weekly food distribution at Ebenezer Church in South Miami has only gotten longer over the years.
We have sweet potato, we have onions, and everything is fresh.
Pastor Roberto Blanco, who gets part of the supply from the warehouse, is working with less.
Si recibimos menos, entonces damos menos cantidad.
So if you get less food, you have to give them a smaller supply.
Porque el propósito es que cada familia lleve algo.
So they at least can have something.
It's affecting farmers too. East Coast Farm and Vegetables near Parkland, Florida, partnered with Feeding South Florida, using federal dollars to pick and pack surplus produce destined for families in need.
This program is a great use of our tax dollars. We are not only helping our farmers here in the States, but you're also feeding families.
Without the funds to process the produce, farmers are hoping crops won't go to waste.
We know that the end goal is to feed people, and we need to work towards that goal.
The goal of reaching those most in need. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Actually really comfortable. I get a lot of things that I need and want to get done here. I can exercise. I can use the bathroom. I can play music anywhere in the unit. It's climate controlled in here, so it's nice and warm. This unit is 24 hours, so I can come here anytime I want, stay here as long as I need to. We can take naps if we need to and go to sleep. So this is our living space. Very, very grateful to have this space. The next goal is to get an RV. The next goal after that, tiny home. And if we want to eat, I just cook right out front. Or we'll just prepare something cold inside of the unit. Sandwiches, a lot of times we make salad. If we want to get power, we use our power bank. They also have power here so we can charge our power bank. Me and my baby will live here as long as we need to until we get the shelter that we want. Because we're living here, now we can save up more money to get what we really want. We're in it for the long haul.
There's many reasons why they will not let you do this. We got to talk about it. There's lots of reasons. My heart goes out for people that are in a tight spot having to make things do. And a storage unit reminds me a lot like my chew in Iraq. All you guys out there from Afghanistan and Iraq, y'all realize we lived in one of these. And we made them work. And in many ways, they were pretty awesome.
Crazy, man.
That, but at least I'll be prepared.
Oh my God, I need these water, baby. Cause they ain't got no more. Thank you, have a good one. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, thirsty? Agua. ¿Eh? No entiendo.
Why you did that?
What he said, mommy?
That why
The B-dub is through, man.
Oh, his water? Ain't no more.
agua. You need water.
Yes, where are the waters?
Oh, I don't know, but...
Bueno, déjale que vaya, mamá.
I don't know, but can you search them?
Search what?
The water?
Let me ask one of the ladies. Ma'am, español? Come here, friend.
He was going to buy it.
Water. Oh, he's going to buy it now.
He doesn't understand because we are Argentinians, so he doesn't speak Spanish. But
how many of you right now are ready for the shelves to be empty? 2 weeks from now,
Walmart might not have anything. Publix, Myers, Kroger, all the dollar stores. What are you going to do? Can you protect your family from people that want to come take what you have? Have you prepared? Have you stocked up on anything at all? Because I know probably 98% of you haven't. Do you have a pew-pew at home? Do you know how to use it? Or are you one of them people that are afraid of them? Think they're bad? You're going to beg for one if you ever need it.
Something fucking scary just happened to me at the Walmart, and I don't even know how I feel right now. Like, I'm literally shaking. I'm hiding in the aisles because it's two people that approach me on some weird shit. Yeah, be careful out here. Let me show you my car before I even explain the story. Let me show you the car. This is my car. Dog food for my dog. 2 cases of water. It's not even a lot of food. Does this look like a lot of food? Like, this is not a lot of food, right? So I am picking up stuff to put in my car so I could like hurry up and go home. This guy's like, must be nice. So I'm like, what you mean? He was like, look at your car. You must be blessed. I am blessed, but the car is not, let me show y'all again. The car is not even that full. Like, what? I'm like, okay. So I continue to go to the next aisle, pick up some things.
See, Jacob's trouble's coming, man. All right, people's eyes. See, people watching you. People watching what you bringing home. You black women, you women out there in general, man. You better have a hard time. All right, because people are facing mental health crisis. Food insecurity. They can't eat. Lack of everything. Lack of funds. A financial crisis. Financial instability. All right. All these things are happening for a reason, man. All these things are happening for a reason. 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation, man. So we're coming into a time where people are going to be offering each other for their food. Guy looking at their cart like that, you see. We're coming to a time where mental health is going to spill over. People are just going to be offering people, man. They can't afford anything. They can't afford their rent. The basic necessities of life. People living in storage units, man. All right? People living in storage units, man. Let's go back up. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. Talking about civil wars coming, man. See, people can't take too much more, man. It says, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. Okay? And you women going to be in a bad case. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes in the course of their action. Their actions shall stand in their power. All right? We about to live in that day. Okay? That day is coming. Isaiah chapter 4 verses 1. In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay, take away their shame. Because these women going to be put to shame out here. These men, you see people already living in storage units, man. Okay. The book of Habakkuk chapter 2 verses 12 through 13. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. And that's what this devil has done, man. Okay, going back to, what's that, Isaiah chapter 10 and 1. It says, behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity. That's right, man. Okay, so this double passes unrighteous decrees. It says, Isaiah 10:1, woe unto him that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Yeah, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Yeah, food is a basic right. Shelter, okay, is a basic right to humankind. I mean, come on, man. This devil don't care about nothing. All right, and you know, mass inflation is coming, man. Ultimately, to lead you people into that line to take that micro C hip, that RFID microchip, man, that MOTB. All right, squeezing the life out of you to the point where you'll do anything. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment, to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey. Yeah, Section 8, taking the man out of the house, all these things, man, it's all adding up. Now they're getting rid of those programs. You women about to be in a bad case. Okay, you men, there's men living in storage units, man. So what more for you women? And that they may rob the fatherless. Right? This is Sirach chapter 40 and 1. It says, great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam from the day that they go out of their mother's womb. It says, till the day that they return to the mother of all things. Their imagination of things to come in the day of death trouble their hearts, trouble their thoughts, and cause fear of heart. So everybody's moving around. Okay, like the scriptures say, men's hearts failing them for fear. People living in storage units, like they can't. People are, and it's ultimately the scourge of the Lord, man. The Lord is bringing all these things upon the place, man, on the planet, because of wickedness. All right, especially here in Babylon, aka America, man. Babylon the Great. Their imagination of things to come in the day of death troubled their thoughts. Yeah, you are constantly thinking about the future, thinking about how you're going to eat, how you're going to pay this, how you're going to do this. You know, people don't have faith. Like the scriptures say, the land shall be barren of faith. All these people are moving around without no faith. They don't know the Lord. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why it's a beautiful thing to have this truth, man. It says their imagination of things to come in the day of death trouble their thoughts. The sea and the waves roaring, and cause fear of heart from him that sitteth on the throne of glory unto him that humbleth, that is humbled in the earth and ashes, from him that weareth purple and a crown unto him that is clothed with a linen frock. Wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness. Yeah, this place is living in unquietness. It's living in trouble. It says fear of death. Yeah, people fear that they ain't going to be able to eat. Okay, that they're going to, people are lonely, alcoholics, drug addicts, looking for a fix. Pretty much, basically committing, unaliving themselves slowly. Not able to stop. So many demons just polluting their minds. It says in anger and strife, and in the time of rest upon his bed, his night's sleep do change his knowledge. A little or nothing is his rest. And afterward, he is in his sleep, as in a day of keeping watch, troubled in a vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle. Yeah, man. It says, when all is safe, he awaketh and marveleth that the fear was nothing. Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast. And that is sevenfold more upon sinners. This place is full of sin, man. So here comes the wrath of the Lord. That's what the wrath of the Lord is going for. Okay, he's gonna humble this place. The scriptures say all the haughty, the Lord's gonna lay low the haughty. The haughtiness of men, the pride of America, man. This place has been real proud against the Lord. So guess what? Now you got to pay for it. It says death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood, man. See? So it's another flood of death coming upon this place. Okay, Jacob's trouble coming upon this place. The day of the Lord is coming upon this place, man. And you can see all the signs. Anyway, with that, hopefully this message is edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom.